Alright, hi guys. I'm going to try doing a video. So I'm in my Lightroom catalog. Right now I'm in library and I have already gone to my collection that's called cropped copies. I can tell that they're copies because in the corner I can see that I have this, it looks like I folded a piece of paper. That's how you know it's a copy as opposed to my top three. They do not have that little fold mark. These are the originals. So back to cropped copies, I'm going to show you how to use the cropping tool. So I have my first one highlighted and I'm going to go into develop, and this is where we've changed the exposure and made things brighter or darker, brought up shadows, all of that good stuff. But today we are going to use this right here, the crop overlay tool that lets us crop and straighten things. So I'm going to click on this and it's going to reveal a toolbar right here with some options. It's also going to show me basically where I can crop, and I'm going to pull the corners, and it has an overlay. Mine is the rule of thirds. Yours may or may not be set up like that. So what I want to do first is I want to make sure that when I crop, my orientation or my aspect is going to be locked. So right now mine is, but I'll show you if it was unlocked the problem. It can be like any shape, which for our purposes we want to keep it consistent. So I'm going to have this locked, which means that when I pull this around it's always going to be the same shape. Even if I make it go vertical, it's still going to be the same orientation or the same aspect. So I'm going to pull this down and I can drag my picture around so that way I can really just focus on what I want and make this picture like more obvious where I'm supposed to look. So I'm going to keep it like this. If I wanted to get, her face out of it, that would be fine. I really just needed the face in there before when I wanted to prove that you guys were working on your assignment. So I could also crop it like this. So I haven't cropped it yet, but I could. If I say done, it'll crop it, but it's not forever. I could undo this by just going back to the crop overlay. So you can see it exited out when I press done, but if I click on the crop overlay, you can see everything is still there, and I could just hit reset and it's back to how it was. So I'm going to go ahead and make it crop like this before. I liked that, so I think that looks cool. Okay, so another thing that you guys can do is you can straighten it. You can see that the steps are kind of like, they're not straight, and so for me to straighten this, I could just go like this and line it up. That's definitely a way to do it. And I could look at those grid lines basically, and this should be straight now. Another way I can do it would be, so if this was how it started, if I wanted to straighten this, I could also take this level, click on it, and then drag it across something that I know should be straight. So I can do that and it makes it straight. Either way works. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and then I have it cropped. You can do that for the other two pictures as well. What you should ask yourself when you are cropping an image is, how do I eliminate distractions? How can I make sure that the person who's viewing my photo knows exactly where to look? And how can I really make the illusion of these people being small and the object being big? How do I make it more convincing? And that can help if you, kind of go a little bit closer. So I can also edit this. I'm going to bring down the highlights. See how that gives me more detail on her sweater right here. And I'm going to see if the whites need anything. I'll bring down the whites a little bit. That does give me more detail right here. You can see that. And shadows I'm going to bring up. That helps me to see more in like their faces, especially over here. And I'll bring up the blacks as well. So you can see it makes it kind of washed out, but then we can fix that by going to contrast and bringing that up a bit. That'll kind of bring some of the, sharpness back. I could also choose to do texture instead, or clarity, dehaze. Oh, that went a little far. Okay, I'm going to choose dehaze. I think that gave me the best effect, but it did make it oversaturated, especially her skin looks like orange. So I'm going to bring down the saturation carefully. Just using the arrow keys right now, bringing it down. I think that looks better. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. And then another day I'll teach you guys how to get more specific with color, but not today. Okay, so that would mean that this picture is finished, and you would do the same for each of these other pictures in the cropped copy. So back to library, I've got these ones which I haven't cropped yet, so I would go ahead and go into develop, into the crop overlay, and then I would edit these as well. Okay, that's it. I'm going to stop recording. How do I do that? I do that by doing this.